Hi everyone, my name's Heather. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to go over a Harry Potter party prep with me. This was for my daughter Elia's 6th birthday, so let's get started. The first thing I wanted to show you guys is Elia helping me make the cake. She really likes to help me with everything. She's such a good little helper. And for our birthday cakes, the last few birthdays, I want to say, I found a hack on Pinterest that helps you make your box cake taste like a bakery cake. And all you do is add milk instead of water, the same amount, an extra egg from what the box tells you, and then instead of oil, you add melted butter. And on Pinterest, the article I found told me to double the amount of butter that you would use for oil, but the first time I did that, I just thought the cake was like too rich. So I just add the recommended amount of fat, but instead of using oil, we used butter. So there's Elia helping me do that. We decided to do a Gryffindor layered kind of cake. So we did 2 layers red velvet, 2 layers yellow cake, and it turned out really, really awesome. And everybody at the party just thought it was delicious. After we were done with the flowers, I just wanted to clear off everything on the table, and we hung up our happy birthday banner that we got on Amazon. I find that whenever I do a party, a banner and some balloons really just makes everything better. So I just decorated the table. That's where I had her cake and some cookies. And I also found a chocolate frog on Amazon and this Hedwig pinata, which was way more expensive than it should have been, but I really think that it was important for the party. Then Elia and I headed into her room and started on the balloon garland. It just sort of ended up bordering the top and a little bit on the sides of that banner. So it added just enough balloons to make it fun, but it definitely wasn't the gigantic balloon arch or garland that you see. But then again, we do live in a smaller condo, and that arch probably would have taken up my whole living room. After we finished the balloon arch, I just wanted to tidy up a little bit and clean off our island. I wish that I would have filmed more for this party prep. I didn't film every little single thing, but on the right side, you can see that we got some Hogwarts gift bags for the kids. And the way I like to do things is that when we have a piñata at the party, I intentionally don't fill the gift bags very full, because once you give them to the kids before the piñata and then the piñata splits open, it's just total chaos. So I like the kids to have their gift bags so that they can, get really excited and run around and pick up all the candy from the piñata. And if their gift bag is full of other little toys and things like that, then there's just no room, and then sometimes they'll get, frustrated. So I intentionally don't fill them too high. Okay, time to frost the cake. So I just have a little tip for you guys that I show you here. I just went to our local Safeway and I asked the bakery if I could buy a bunch of the buttercream because I find that their buttercream is way better than any sort of, frosting that's sold next to the cake mixes in the baking aisle. And it's not that much more expensive, but I really think it makes a big difference on the cake. So now what I'm doing, I'm not a professional baker by any means. I just really like the icing artist on YouTube. And so I've watched her several times. And I noticed that she always puts a crumb coat on the cake. And I just thought that was a really, really good idea. So that's what I'm trying to do here, is getting the cake as even as possible and just putting thin layers of the buttercream in between. Because another thing about the grocery store cakes or buttercream is that I notice that when we buy them, I think it's just way too much buttercream on the cake. So when you're making it yourself, that's the nice thing, is that you can just put really thin layers in between the cake and then have most of the frosting be like decorative on the outside of it. So that's just what I'm doing right now, is trying to get a good foundational shape for the cake by just doing this crumb coat. And it's okay if it's not, a perfectly even coat, or if it doesn't look great. We're just trying to kind of get the shape how we want it. And then I put the cake in the refrigerator after I do this. Here we are the next morning, putting the first coat of buttercream over the crumb coat of the cake. I forgot to mention that before I put it in the refrigerator, I did put saran wrap around the whole cake, just to keep the cake kind of from drying out in the refrigerator. But I do find that when you put this second coat of buttercream on, it's a lot easier to do if the cake is cold, because that buttercream does harden. So I was really able to get the shape that I wanted for the cake by putting it in the fridge overnight. Okay, after the cake sat in the fridge for about an hour, it was time to dye the rest of the icing to pipe the scarf that I wanted to put on the cake. So I went to Michael's earlier in the week and I got a gold icing and I got a burgundy icing. So when I set up the gold icing, it was good. It was fine, usable. And it might have been a little bit dark, but I thought, oh, it's fine. It's, totally fine. So then I go to stir up the burgundy icing, and you guys, it came out pink and I didn't know what to do. I added more, it came out purple. I just thought, this isn't gonna work. I added yellow to it. I mean, I literally tried it. I tried to salvage it, but there was no saving it. So then I thought, what am I gonna do with this cake? I just have a plain white cake. So I did buy some gold and red sprinkles from Michael's. So I just kind of switched up my idea and I thought, well, maybe I can make a little sprinkle scarf. The Gryffindor scarves are striped anyways. So I just took some little small pieces of paper towels and scraped the rest of the buttercream I had to try to get the sprinkles to stick and make a little scarf cake. And it wasn't what I had originally envisioned, but I thought it turned out really cute. And I just want you guys to know that as long as you're doing things with love, your kids are going to absolutely adore it. I mean, Elia loved this cake. She thought it was the coolest thing. Everybody at the party liked it, and it was totally okay at the end of the day that, my burgundy buttercream was a fail because it just, that's how life works, right? Nothing turns out perfectly. Nothing turns out the exact way you envision it, but it doesn't mean that it's not beautiful, and it doesn't mean that, you know, it's any less. There's my husband coming in to check out the cake, and he thought it looked good too. He just, you know, suggested that I maybe go around the bottom, alternating colors, which was actually a really good idea, and I think added a lot to the cake. So that's just what I'm doing now, just going around the bottom and giving it kind of a little bit of a fun border, since, you know, I don't have any more icing to do that with. So here's how the cake turned out in the end. I think it's really cute and very Harry Potter, Gryffindor, and everybody really enjoyed it, especially Elia. Then after I finished the cake, I just wanted to give the kitchen a good clean, and a little bit of the burgundy dye had gotten on my countertop, so that's why I had to take a Clorox wipe and wipe that off. If you do happen to have white quartzite countertops, when you get any kind of dye on there, just a little bit of a Clorox wipe. Sometimes you have to leave it on there for a minute or two, but it really does get it right off. So now I'm just tidying up and getting ready for the party. Okay, now that we have a clean kitchen, it's time to mess it up again. I don't know about you guys, but every time I clean my kitchen, I just think it feels so nice. And then I'll look at it a few minutes later and say, wow, I want to cook in that kitchen. And then all of a sudden I find myself messing it up again. But anyways, I'm just making some fruit skewers for the party. I don't know about you guys, but I find that when you put the fruit on a skewer, kids and adults alike tend to take it more, and those are always gone at the end of the party. Whereas if you have like a bowl of fruit salad, even if the fruit is cut up the exact same way, for some reason nobody takes it. So I like to make the fruit skewers, and I let Elia, of course, pick which fruit since it's her birthday, and she decided on watermelon, strawberries, and grapes. So that's what we did. Here comes Elia in to help me finish the fruit skewers. She's all ready for her party in her Hermione costume. I cannot believe that she's 6 already. I'm sure all of you moms can relate. The time just goes by so fast. And I just want to thank you guys for tuning in to my first party prep video. I hope it was helpful. I hope that you enjoyed it. And I know we had so much fun at the party, and Elia just thought everything was perfect because in her little eyes and in her heart it was. So here's a few shots of what everything ended up looking at the party. So here's the island where we put all of the food, or most of the food. And then I served sandwiches, and here is one of the cake table. Thanks for watching.